YouTube Nation, Mayfair TV, aka Me TV, aka the baby mama drama. Man, look, we're going to start off with this today. For those who don't know what happened over the weekend, all right? Lesean McCoy, the running back for the Eagles, got into a Twitter bout with his baby mama, and he got TKO'd. Seriously, I don't know what he was thinking, all right? Now, I will put it like this. When this all happened, there were a lot of people online, on Twitter, laughing about it, joking about it, and thinking, oh, this is something I've never seen before. This is so entertaining. Look, people, if you're from the hood like me, all right, this is nothing, all right? This is a rerun of yesterday and the day before. Hell, some of you see in the hood, you see this happen 2-3 times a day. So for us, it's predictable. We've seen this before. We know how this is going to go down, all right? Now, I'll put it like this. I've seen a lot of people do videos on it and, knee-jerk reactions and, oh, did you see what happened? And, I think nobody's really taken somewhat of a serious approach on it. I really haven't seen that. So I'm going to try to tackle this situation. Yeah, I know tackle and take a stab at it, as best as possible and explain some things to you when it comes to baby mama drama in my experience of seeing these type of things happen over and over again, okay? So first off, people in the hood, I know you already know it, so I don't need to explain this to you. So this is pretty much for people who have never, seen this before. Now play this. Her gripe was that Lesean McCoy is never there for his son. He never sees his son. He never spends time with his son. He's always out with his friends. And the way she went off, because it's the way she approached him about it, all right? Because she talks about how, all his friends are paid for. Everything he does is paid for. He lives a phony life, but he's never there. He has all this money. He's never there for his son. And his comeback pretty much is, I gets money. You know what I mean? You don't have no job. You have nothing to say. Now, look. You should know if someone approaches you like that, you ignore them. He got caught up. That's what it was. You ignored them. Because if you ignore them, she's coming off as just some crazy woman. That's what she's coming off. They can't talk logically or, civil to him. So at that point, you should know, just ignore her. But no, he bought into it and he gave her relevancy. That's what he did. All right. And when he said that to her, she fired right back and was like, I go to school and I take care of your son. That's a job enough. And it's like, and he's not there to help. There's a problem. And then she goes on saying how, he abandons his son just to, go out and have sex with other women. And then he has STDs. And I mean, she's just going off. All right. And now we've seen this in the hood. All right. Because we know when women act like that and you sitting on the corner or the steps on the porch with your friends and you just watching it all go down, you think to yourself, man, that ratchet drawing. She drawing. Like, that's what you're thinking. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you're thinking. So, since she didn't approach him, he should have ignored, correctly, he should have ignored her. But he didn't. So, now he's into it. And you know how these insults are going to go. The first thing you do is attack what you have between your legs. Oh, it's little. You couldn't last long. We've seen this time and time again how it plays out. All right? And she's pretty much railroading him. And it's weird because I'm thinking to myself the entire time, nobody is coming to Lesean McCoy's aid. I'm talking about his teammates or other people. It's interesting because the players that are on his team, they're throwing salt on the wound. They're actually fanning the flames for more of this to happen. Now, look, I have a really big problem with that because you have to understand that these guys represent a team. They represent a city. We saw Giants fans come out and was like, yo, what's going on with your running back? And they're laughing at us, as an organization altogether because we've seen in the past, in the previous couple of years, these players cannot control themselves. And here we go again, once again. All right, there's a problem here. But like I said, the players, they're trying to make fun of the situation. Everyone's joking. I will put it like this. By the numbers, it is not a joke when you know how many black men, especially since it's a stereotype at this point, all right, abandon their sons. It's not a joke. All right? We know this. There's a campaign right now trying to get more black men to be fathers to their sons or black men to mentor others that don't have fathers. This is not a joke. But yet Eagles players feel we can just, call it Jerry Springer and everyone can just go off, try to make a joke out of it all. It's not funny. It's not. And this is the maturity of what I'm talking about when it comes to players. It's interesting because another person on Twitter says that if this would have happened with other players from the past, they would have set him straight a long time ago. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen this mentality, this immaturity from players for years now. All right, we've seen it on the field. We're seeing it off the field when they combat with fans, and now we're seeing it go even further now. And it's become the snowball effect. It's affecting all of us, I should say. All right, and I know a lot of people will say, well, that's between them two. They have problems. Yes, but when she takes it to social media, everyone's going to get involved. You're playing it out for the world to see. That's what you're doing, all right? And I want to talk about this because you have to understand this is a lack of communication between them two. Whether she had an agenda to come on Twitter and blast on him, blaze on him, whatever you want to call it, all right? Whether she had the agenda or not, obviously, if she felt that way, he's not doing his part on his end, all right? We don't know how many phone calls have been made or emails have been shared or face-to-face that say, hey, you need to take care of your son. We don't know all that, all right? But obviously it got to a point where she felt she had to come on Twitter and let the world know. That's what it comes down to. There is more to this than just, oh, you know, she just wanted to start something. No, there's more to it. There's a lot more to it. So, like I said, when you do this and it plays out for everyone, I put it like this. There are so many levels that it embarrasses. Not only does it embarrass Lesean McCoy, not only does it embarrass his baby mama, not only does it embarrass the child, because when he grows up, it's on the internet. It's there forever. He's going to see that eventually. You know what I mean? So you're embarrassing not only also the families that are involved. Then you have to look at it from, dare I say, a race issue, because you're disrespecting each race. All right, it's embarrassing to each race to sit and watch. Then you have to look at it as from a fan perspective, because you embarrass the fans that back you. Okay, then you have to look at it as an embarrassment from the league perspective, from the NFL, from the organization, from the Eagles. I mean, there are so many levels of this that it's embarrassing. It just is. It's embarrassing. This is why athletes, I had said before, and social media really doesn't work. It doesn't, because when things play out like this, it is for the worst. And we always see there's more bad than good when it comes to athletes on Twitter. We see this time and time again. They give you so much ammo to go after them. And it's not just because, oh, they blew a play or whatever. No, it's because of the way they act. This is what I mean time and time again about how people really don't know the athletes that they cheer for. Because when you finally start to see how they really are, it's a completely different story. It's like, wow, that guy really is an idiot. You know what I mean? Or really, we're exchange idiot for whatever word you want to call him. But that's what we see time and time again. And I know a lot of people, said that, it was uncharacteristic of Shady. Yeah, Shady. But that we don't know this. We don't know if it's uncharacteristic. We don't know that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know him. All we know is from what the media, when they ask him the little questions, and what he says in interviews. That's all we know, and the way he plays. That's it. We don't know him. And if I'm Chip Kelly, I'm telling you this now. You do something about this before it gets worse. And I don't mean just for Lesean's sake, all right? I'm saying look at the players. Look at how everything is. This is another example why Philadelphia fans are so upset. It's not just wins and losses. It's the way they carry themselves. It's the way they just don't care. That's the problem. Chip Kelly, you are on the clock. You are. This is the great time to set an example. And I don't think you're going to. I think you're going to let this ride. But if I'm you, today, I would have made a press conference saying, look, we're going to take care of this right now. To show that you're not going to put up with this type of behavior. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, I want to move on to the Pro Bowl. Okay, Pro Bowl. Or should I say lack of Pro Bowl. All right, because I put it like this. Anyone who watched this, did anyone watch this really yesterday? Because I really didn't. I flipped every once in a while to see what was going on, and I was seeing Russell Wilson destroy dudes left and right. You know what I'm saying? And that score was just ridiculous. I was just like, I'm not watching this. Look, the NFL is still reluctant with the Pro Bowl and what they want to do with it. What I don't understand is why they haven't taken a page out of the NBA. Now, look, I put it like this. NBA All-Star Weekend, we see all these things that happen, and granted, they always fail to, the highest expectations. We expect so much because we've seen so many things in the past, and they fail to execute. But you have to give the NBA some type of credit for having it, all right? Where are the skills challenges for the NFL like back in the day? For those who remember when we used to watch the Pro Bowl, in that weekend, we'd see the quarterbacks throw at targets. We'd see, the sprints between the wide receivers, the track and field. We would see the receivers trying to catch the ball from the machines. We saw all this type of stuff play up before the Pro Bowl. And now we don't even get that. It seems if the NFL if they're really strong about keeping the Pro Bowl, you have to make more activities. Because we spoke about this on Twitter. The Pro Bowl is nothing but a vacation for athletes and their families. That's all it is. If you're really watching the Pro Bowl for serious competition, there's something wrong with you. Because you know what? It used to be great. Years and years ago, it used to be a hardcore thing. Being in the Pro Bowl was something that was an honor. Now you got people who take off, I'm not going to go to the Pro Bowl. I'm just not going to do it. I may be selected, but I don't care. It's one of those things. People don't want to get injured and stuff like that. There's a lot of kid gloves with the Pro Bowl. As far as I'm concerned, why don't you just take off, the pads? Let them keep the helmets on if they want, but make it flag football at this point. The Pro Bowl, if you're not going to try to expand on it and make it a better experience, get rid of it. That's as far as I'm concerned. Now I want to move on, all right? I want to talk about this for those who don't know. President Obama came out and said about football that if he had a son, that he'd be very reluctant of him to play football because of all the injuries and all the problems. Number one, that's not what I want to hear. All right? That is ridiculous. Look, I played football. I've been hit in the head. I've been forearmed in the head and everything else. And guess what? I turned out fine. There's many people who've played football and turned out fine. Of course, there are people who have been injured and, you know, it's a contact sport. But you should know. You can't have fear in football. You can't. And that's what our president has displayed right now. It's a difference between having concern and having fear. And this is the second time in a row now because we saw last week, and I don't really want to bring this up because it's a completely different subject, you know, about video games and, we have to do studies now on violent video games and the behavior and if it links to killing and stuff like that. Now we're seeing him do this with football where I wouldn't know if I let him play. You understand by saying that, you pretty much pissed on football. That's what you just did, all right, because of safety concerns. Now, understand, I don't want my president to show any type of fear. You are giving in, if you ask me, and that's something I don't want to see. All right, I put it like this. You let your kids play football, and I'm not just talking about, because not everyone's just going to come, they're going to go to the NFL. No, all right, you let them play on a smaller level, all right? There are kids out there that play at, 50 pounds, 60 pounds. There's kids with the helmets. If you've ever been to like a Pop Warner game, all right, there's kids with the helmet's too big and it wobbles like this when they're running. Seriously, those kids are well protected. They can barely tackle each other. Now, if you're talking within the 150 pound, 130 pound, 180 pounds, that's different. Then you got high school, then you got, college or semi-pro, and you have all these type of leagues, all right? By then, they should know what's going on. You know what you're getting yourself into. That's what it comes down to. All right, so I don't want to hear, I don't know if I let my kid play. Now we're seeing people get concussions and problems in the NBA. I guess you're going to take a stab at basketball next? All right, we just saw Pau Gasol not too long ago had a concussion. So are you going to get scared of that? And I know Obama loves to play basketball, so would you say that too? See, this is my problem, all right? You can't just sit here and focus on negative things when it comes to sports, because like I said, even though there are negative things, there's a lot of positive things with it. There's a lot of things that fly under the radar. Should we talk about Warwick Dunn? Look at all the things that Warwick Dunn did when he was playing in the NFL. Look how many charities he had and building houses and helping the homeless. But we only heard about that a couple times. You get what I'm saying? That's the problem. But if a player gets arrested or acts a fool, we're going to hear about that all day on ESPN or any other news network. That's the problem. It's sad. I think the president is wrong for saying this. It raises awareness. Granted, if he comes out and says them, then yeah, you should listen. It raises awareness. But for what I've seen in the track record previously, I think he's pretty much giving in to fear at this point. That's what it comes down to. Now, fear. I want to talk about fear real quick because I want to talk about Super Bowl. All right? I'm afraid that this Super Bowl is going to be too good. That's right. I think it's going to set a bar. Now, I gave you all my, analysis last week on what I thought about the Super Bowl and the teams involved. All right? Secondary, receivers, stuff like that. I want to talk about the picks because, you know what? I'm not sure. I'm so, dare I say, afraid. Now, mind you, I don't have a problem with either team going into the Super Bowl. I don't have any, any personal connection to this. I really do want to pick the Ravens. I do. But I got to say, I'm going to go with the 49ers. I have to say that. It just seems like if they can't stop this kid Kaepernick, it's going to be a whole different thing. There's already a craze in San Francisco for this guy. I mean, it's going crazy. It's, Alex Smith, he's been out of a job for a while. We talked about this before. Kaepernick, I feel, can do so much if you give him the chance. If the Ravens cannot keep him within the tackles, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Their defense is a lot better, don't get me wrong, than Atlanta. All right? I'll put it like this. It's going to be a very physical Super Bowl. That's how I feel. It's going to be a smash and grind Super Bowl. Both defenses are great. I really don't have a problem with their offenses. It really depends on how Ray Rice runs. It really does. It depends on how the coaching goes with that. Joe Flacco, as we know, he's got Torrey Smith out there. He does. He's got Anquan Bolden. The Niners have a pair of receivers themselves, a number of receivers that can make it, can be a threat. This really comes down to if you can contain Kaepernick. It really does with the 49ers. Now, I do want to say that I am picking the 49ers. Like I said, I'm picking them. But me and San Francisco fans, we have to have a talk. All right? I don't know what's going on out there in San Francisco, but you got to cool down. And what I mean by this is, for those who don't know, last time the 49ers played Atlanta Falcons last week. All right, in the AFC. Not last week, the week before, because, Pro Bowl was this week. Was it? We had 49ers fans stab Atlanta Falcons fans in the neck during the game. What's going on here? All right, now you're stabbing people? Before that, we had 49ers fans and Raiders fans shooting each other in the parking lot. All right, and then you blame Raiders fans for that, and the Raiders fans had to clean up their image. Are you serious? And before that, we had San Francisco Giants fans and LA Dodgers fans hurting people in the parking lot. And the guy was hospitalized. And look, what is going on in San Francisco? Or should I say over, in the Bay or in LA, depending where you're at. It has to do with something with a San Francisco fan for some reason. If that happened here once, they would have said the entire city is like this and that should be wiped off the face of the planet. I have a big problem with this. All right, San Francisco fans, if you win, I don't have a problem with it. Go ahead and party, celebrate. You won a Super Bowl. You're 4-5-0 in the Super Bowl. All right, we know what the 49ers can do. All right, it's a new generation, but we've seen what they've done in the past. All right, no one's going to doubt that. But don't sit here and start killing people and stabbing people and hurting people over sports, over football. Are you serious? There has to be a line drawn, and there needs to be some accountability held. I'm not saying it's all San Francisco fans, but this is what I tried to tell you guys before, with Giants fans and now 49ers fans. When you have bad fans, and it's not all of you, when you have bad fans, they're going to make you look bad. And it's going to spread to all of you. So you should know how this goes. You're going to have your diehard fans. You're going to have your bandwagoners. You're going to have your absolute idiots who think they're super fan and decide they want to stab people and shoot people. You're going to have those. But understand, when you get into these type of debates with people are going to sit here and say, you're all like this. It comes with the territory. It seems like you're new to that. And I tried to explain this before with Giants fans, but they didn't want to hear that. Understand, this has happened way too many times. It just has. And I want to move on because I want to talk about baseball since I mentioned Giants. It's nothing against the Giants. I want to talk about baseball because for those who don't know, baseball is now, they're adding a balk rule, all right? Remember how pitchers used to go to third? They would fake the throw to third and throw to first. Now that will be considered a balk, all right? I just want to put that information out there. And I want to talk about the Phillies because I really have a problem with the Phillies right now. You signed Delmon Young. I have a problem with this. For those who don't know Delmon Young, this guy has a history of not caring. He's been arrested. He's been charged with a hate crime, and he's admitted he's done. All right, this guy is a bad fit for the team. And I know a lot of people say he has a great ceiling. This guy is overweight. I don't think he can play. And the Phillies had to give him an incentive. That's right, for him to lose weight. He can make more money if he loses weight. What? You just have money lying around like that? Hold on, let me just say something straight here, all right? This is what I mean about baseball players and not taking care of themselves. I did a video about this about a year ago, about the health of baseball players and not caring. I'll put it like this. If he doesn't lose weight, see ya. How about that? How about lose weight or leave, or you're going to be out of the MLB? That's not enough incentive? No. You got to give him money. Give him money to lose weight. And there's people on Twitter talking about something, I need to lose weight. You got an extra 100,000 standing around? Yeah, because the Phillies, this is ridiculous. I do not approve of this whatsoever. If this is what you have to do, this is desperation. That's what it is. I put it like this, and I want to talk about you Phillies fans for a minute, because for those who don't know, since 2009, we'll say 2008, 2009, when we were getting sold out and all those tickets and World Series and everyone was, high on the Phillies here, I want to talk about this, all right? Because for those who don't know, as of late, you should know between then and now, the Phillies have never had to advertise for season tickets because there was a waiting list. There's a huge waiting list for the Phillies. This year, they're actually advertising season tickets. You can go on their site right now and go buy partial season tickets. They never had to do that. Never. Now they have to. It's been a number of years since they had to. So it goes to show you, slowly but surely, the bandwagoners are leaving. That's what it comes down to. And the way this team is made up, I'm not sold on it anyway. They're going to have to make a move at least before, if they want to get into the second wild card spot, I'll say. I don't trust this team. Not the way it's built right now. All right? They're just trying to pick up pieces and everything. It's not working. It's not. But it goes to show you that now the fan attendance, I'm sure there's going to be fans that come in and want to take that, but when you have to start advertising for tickets, when you haven't had to do that in a number of years, that is a sign. I got my, I've already got season tickets. Y'all know me. I always have season tickets. But that is a sign. If you cannot see that, then no, there's something wrong. Now, I want to move on to the Royal Rumble. I got to talk about this. I watched it last night. I watched it, outside of the Pro Bowl. Because the Pro Bowl, like I said, I'm not going to sit and watch this. I watched the Royal Rumble. That should tell you something. Now, I'll put it like this. All right, the first match that came in, I went 3 for 4 on my picks when it came on Twitter. First match, last man standing, Alberto Del Rio versus Big Show. Seriously, that's how you ended? Really? Taping his ankles to the rope? You've run out of ideas when it's come to last man standing. I understand the Big Show is a big, dominant dude, and you have to find a way to stop him. I get it. And you don't have to be knocked out to not get up after 10. I get it. All right? But don't sit here and tell me that that was going to stop the Big Show. Come on, man. Are you serious? Really? But I want to move on. We all know Team Hell No was going to beat Rogue Scholars or whatever you want to call them. All right. That was just, yeah. They're not giving up the titles anytime soon. I personally think that if they were going to drop the titles to anyone right now, it should have been to the primetime players. I think they're ready for it. You know, they're ready to hold the titles as a heel team and act the way they do. I think they're ready for the titles. I really do. All right. Got to talk about Royal Rumble real quick. Royal Rumble was very fun to watch. It was very fun to watch. I saw some, old characters come up. I love the fact that Cody Rhodes and Goldust went at it. I love the fact they brought in Jericho at number 2 to fight Dolph Ziggler. I didn't like the way Jericho was eliminated. I really felt that Jericho should have eliminated Dolph Ziggler to finish that, that small feud so that they can move on and go their different ways. I feel the Cody Rhodes Goldust thing really should play out a little bit more so we can see where it goes. But of course, they're not going to give him, his big time contract. Here's a problem I have with the Royal Rumble, okay? You bring out the Godfather. That's right, the Godfather. And CM Punk he had spoiled it on Twitter not too long ago because I believe he was having lunch with Wade Barrett. Was it the Godfather? So it just so happened to happen. He was talking about before, so it was pretty much confirmed it was going to happen. But the Godfather comes out and he's eliminated in like half a second. Now here's my problem. You couldn't even give the guy, let him do the whole train once? Seriously? You couldn't. The guy still looks like he's in pretty good shape, too. So, you could have came out there. If you're going to eliminate the guy, at least let him do a signature move before he gets eliminated. You know what I mean? Kofi Kingston gets, pretty much, it was interesting the way he got eliminated. Because at first, he jumped on Albert's back, and, he didn't know where to go once he was on the table. So, he had to pogo stick his way back over to the, over to the ring with a chair, which I felt was the bad way out. I understand he called the human pogo stick, whatever, so that's why he did it. But I really thought he was going to wall walk over to the rail. Like Primetime Skipper when he did TMA, I thought that he was going to do that, and he didn't. So I was a little disappointed. I really thought he was going to show some athletic ability on that. And he got eliminated too. Not that big of a deal. I think we all knew that John Cena was going to win this Royal Rumble. We knew this, all right? I mean, the way they've been talking as of late for time and time again about how he had a bad year, he shouldn't have got Superstar of the Year, he lost so many matches. Let's get something straight about John Cena, because I know a lot of people, I'll put a link in the info bar when you guys sent me on Twitter, people are pissed off that John Cena won. This is my problem with John Cena. I don't hate him as a person or as a wrestler, all right? I understand the overexposure they give him, but I put it like this. Even though last year was a bad year for him, they kept putting him in the main event. They kept putting him in all these big-time situations. And here's the thing. Even after the world title is supposed to be the most prestigious, it's supposed to be the top spot of them all. All right? When you're having world title matches and then you end the night with John Cena, no title or anything, he's become bigger than the title. And that's a problem. It's a problem, all right? Like I said, that's not his fault. That's booking. It's whoever is pushing this. That's on him, you know what I mean? But we knew John Cena was going to win last night. It was predictable. CM Punk versus The Rock. I would say this is the one I got wrong. I was very disappointed to see The Rock win. This match wasn't that good. I mean, we know The Rock. We know how he is. We're not going to see really technical wrestling from The Rock. We're not. All right? We saw technical wrestling from The Rock came from one Russian leg sweep. It was just a lot of slaps, a lot of punches. It was really sad to see. It didn't really get good until CM Punk started countering a couple of things on The Rock, and then The Rock started countering a little bit himself. That's when it got good. Now, here's the problem I have, all right? Because slap, slap, slap. CM Punk is trying to put his guard up, but of course, he's got to sell it, all right? I don't have a problem with the way The Rock ended with the people's elbow. What I have a problem with is how all of a sudden Vince McMahon hates, CM Punk so much that he wants The Rock, he wants to strip him of the title, and then The Rock's like, no, I'm going to call the shots, and we're going to finish it the right way, which brings everyone up. And, and here's the problem, all right? We saw this via Chris Benoit before when we saw it with The Rock, all right? We saw this, and people didn't like it then, all right? Why you're doing this to CM Punk makes no sense to me. I really would have liked to have seen his run go a little bit further because for those who don't know, he had a spat with Stone Cold Steve Austin not too long ago when they were trying to bring out the video game. And I really thought if CM Punk would have beat The Rock, that would have prompted more, Attitude Era wrestlers to come out and face CM Punk. And in a way that they could do it well instead of just bringing out, oh, it's a legend killer thing. You get what I'm saying? I really thought that we could have saw Punk versus Austin. And Austin has said he's expressed some concern about it, We get it, his back isn't there anymore. But he can still get out there and throw some punches, just like The Rock did. Throw some punches, some Luthez presses, and hit him with a stunner if he needs to. We've seen this time and time again. So I really think that you could have worked within the confines of that. Now that we know what's going on, lights go out. Everyone's saying it's the Shield, the Shield, the Shield. Okay, I'm going to say this now before Raw comes on tonight, all right? CM Punk is going to come out, and he's going to say that he was screwed. And that, you know, the man took his title away from him. It was unjust. It was wrong. It was unfair. The lights went out. You technically didn't see who did it. You get what I'm saying? So it could have been anybody. And to blame CM Punk for something like that is a problem. That's what he's going to say. And he's going to protest that tonight, I feel. All right? And he's going to say they just wanted to get rid of his title reign and cut it short. We can see this storyline coming a mile away, especially with The Rock being the champion now and Cena going into WrestleMania. We know WrestleMania, you know, CM Punk, John Cena 2. We see this coming. However, I thought if The Rock was going to win the title, it would have been, as many of you have expressed on Twitter, it would have been at Elimination Chamber. You know what I mean? So that it still gives Punk some type of credibility when it comes to, you had to take the title. He was so dominant as a champion, you had to take it away from him with all these other guys around. You get what I'm saying? It would have made things, or a triple threat even, it would have made things, you know, not even him having to be pinned. So it would have gave him credibility even if he would have lost the title. That's what I thought would have happened. All right? It seems like wrestling has kind of taken a back seat when it comes to their storylines. It wasn't really that great of a match. And then the only thing that I was really concerned about last night with Punk and Rock was the fact that when Rock went for the rock bottom on CM Punk on the table gave way before he could do it. And both guys pretty much face planted into the ground. It wasn't, you know what I mean, it wasn't scripted. They looked hurt for a minute. You know what I mean? But they bounced back really well. It was good to see that they, you know, that they weren't really hurt. You know, some were, you know, we saw CM Punk, he was, you know, selling the knee. We saw all this type of stuff. I just really thought that we would have saw more. I expected more from that type of match, you know, for the way they hyped it up. I really felt CM Punk should have held the title a little bit longer, just to see where it went. You know what I mean? So, I guess they're just running well dry. We'll see what this happens at Raw. I'm just going to call this right now. Like I said, let's see what happens when it comes. Because you know that's going to be the first thing tonight. CM Punk is going to come out. Or The Rock is going to... Somebody's going to come out and start talking. You know how Raw is. They got to come out and talk for 20 minutes before we see a match. So, anyways, all right. I'm done. I'm getting ready to head to the gym anyway. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.